Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to sit down and just play with a bunch of new products. We are in the midst of the Sephora VIB sale and a lot of products are dropping. Literally left and right, new things are becoming available. So I do have some products I was able to get when I went in store yesterday, as well as some PR. I really went in store looking for the new Patrick Ta palette. I was told it would be there, and then when I got there, they said that it would not be available until the 8th in stores. So I'm waiting for it to come in shipping, which you know shipping can be delayed, especially during the sale, so bear with me. When I get it, I will film with it. I was able to get a product that I was really excited to review, so I want to focus in today on the Fenty Beauty Sun Stalker Face and Eye Bronzer Highlight Palette. So I thought that I would use the bronzers, the highlighters, just play around with that. I also was able to grab one of the tinted moisturizer blushes from Laura Mercier, which I really want to test out, and I did get a sample of the Dior Forever Glow Foundation. A lot of you had asked me to try that and the matte one, so when I was in store I did get samples of both, so I will be trying those out. And then I have some PR. I have the Lawless Concealer. I also have the Too Faced Born This Way Sunset Strip Eyeshadow Palette. This is like their newest palette. I have the Urban Decay All Nighter Long Lasting Setting Spray and the Refi Beauty Lip Liners. And then I have some other products that I may throw in as we go. I'm sort of at the mercy of shipping right now. I'm just waiting for products to ship. My store did not have a lot in store. It's so disappointing, and that's why I feel like I don't go in store often, because everything new they just don't carry in the stores near me. And then even some of the products I had to ask them to go in the back and get them. They were still in boxes. It's just really tough. I don't know if it's just Ohio, but we just don't have the biggest Sephora stores or the biggest selection. So a lot of the really hot new products, I'm just waiting for them to ship. So once my orders arrive, we will be doing hauls and more trying new makeup videos. But for now, I felt like we had enough products to play with. So I will link all the products down below, as well as the information about the Sephora sale. If you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe. And if you enjoy these videos, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get into this. Before I start on an eye look, I did pick up this on the recommendation of you guys, or a lot of you guys were telling me to check this out in store. This is from K Skin, and this is the IO Lip Balm SPF 30. So I was going to get the Kula lip oil that has SPF in it, but a lot of you guys were telling me about this. So when I saw it in store, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna pick it up. This is what it looks like. It is really cute packaging. And then it's like a clear balm, and it has SPF, or a clear like oil balm. Smells really good, like I don't know, vanilla, and it feels really good on the lips. I don't think anything's gonna replace my Too Faced. I did also grab a couple more of my Too Faced pillow balms. I like the way it feels, and I like the scent of it, and it gives my lips sort of a high shine look. So thank you to those of you that told me about this. I was kind of just looking through every aisle to make sure that I got all of my restocks, and when I saw this, I just grabbed it immediately, and the price was really good. So now I want to go in and do a look with this Too Faced palette. So this was sent to me in PR. I really didn't know if you guys were interested. I did share this on my Instagram stories, and I feel like a lot of people were sharing my swatches or clicking the link to purchase. So I was like, maybe people are really into this. So this is the newest palette from Too Faced. It's the Born This Way Sunset Stripped. I know a lot of people were saying, you know, we've seen this a million times. This is nothing new. Certain brands stick with the same thing, like NARS Orgasm, Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, Too Faced Born This Way, Urban Decay Naked. They just kind of go with the same things. And there must be a reason. These things must be selling, because otherwise I don't know why they'd keep doing it. This is what the palette looks like. And again, it looks very similar to the other one. I don't know if I have that in my collection anymore. It's interesting, I'll get comments saying like my collection must be insane. I regularly declutter. I give to neighbors, family, friends. As I get older, it almost gives me anxiety to have way too much makeup where I can't find my favorites. So I really don't hold on to everything you think I would. I really hold on, or try to hold on to stuff that's maybe newer and I'm reviewing, or stuff that is like top tier. So this is a neutral palette. Of course, I feel like it's nothing extraordinary, but I will say I love neutral palettes. Some of my favorite palettes are, you know, the Makeup by Mario mattes or the Patrick Ta Major Dimension. This looks like it has quite a bit of depth, which I like. It's pretty warm toned overall, but it looks like you have 3 interesting shades in here that lean more pink. And then this one, I don't know, it looks almost like a duochrome. So as I was talking, I started smelling like almost like a perfume suntan lotion. And I was like, is that the lip balm? But I think it actually is the palette. It has like a beachy scent to it. I think I'm gonna start out with this shade right here called Sun's Out. Ooh, that doesn't look like it's picking up. I'm gonna use actually my finger here. So these shades seem to be a little bit, I guess, chunkier, which could make them more high shine. Like that looks really pretty. And they feel quite creamy, or this shade does at least. So I'm just gonna put this on my lid. And this morning I saw that this was available at Sephora. So you can get your discount if you were eyeing it. So next I wanna go into this deep shade here, which is called Bonfire Babes. And I'm just gonna use this on the outer portion of my lid. I'm gonna grab a little bit of this matte shade called Sun Chaser with a fluffy brush. And I'm gonna basically go over the edges. If I lose a little bit of shine, that's okay. We can go back in. I just feel like so many products are launching at the same time, but they're all just online. Like I can't get my hands on them fast enough to review. So I'm hoping that my packages come quickly so that I can get reviews up. That's just a messy blend. Don't think that I'm leaving it like that. But so that I can get reviews up before the sale ends. That's always the struggle. So to blend that out even more, I'm gonna take a little bit of the lightest matte in here called High Tide. And I'm going to just go over any edges. I'm using a Refer 27. I thought I saw that Refer was having a sale. Well, I did see they were. I didn't get an email, which is strange because I'm an affiliate with them. But I will link it down below. I think it was like 40% off. I saw a lot of other creators posting about it. And sometimes I feel like bad when all of us post about the same thing. I mean, it is our job to let you guys know, you know, when products we like are on sale, but it was kind of like overload on the community tab. So I was like, well, maybe I'll just sit this one out. But if you were interested, I don't even know if it's still going on. If it is, I will leave it linked down below, but 40% off is amazing. And I really do like their brushes. So I think getting them at a steep discount like that is like the perfect time. But I just feel like there's so many sales going on at the same time too. I'm like, oh my God, the Sephora sale. We had the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. I just feel like lots of things are on sale right now. All right, I feel like I have a little area right here that's grabbing, but you know what? We're just gonna let it ride. I want to go in now back into this shimmer shade that I used first called Sun's Out, just to intensify the lid area. This one feels like almost like a cream. So as I said before, there's a lot of depth in here. I want to play around with possibly using this shade mixed with this shade to do a wing. This is more of like a maroon color. I think it would be really pretty, but I'm not sure if this is deep enough, so I'll bring this in if I have to. Hopefully I don't have to bring in the black. I'm actually gonna start off with a flat brush just to get some sort of shape. So I'm gonna start out with the shade Chai Times, which is the lighter maroon shade, but again, I don't know if it's going to be intense enough. Oh, it might be. To give me what I'm looking for, I'm gonna mix in a little bit of that Cocoa Glow, which is that more brown shade with a little more depth. I love like a maroon wing. So I'm just using this brush to get a rough shape going. And then whatever's like messy over here, it's no big deal. We'll just clean it up. So I went ahead and threw some lashes on. I feel like they're looking a little bit wonky. I will try to fix that. But if not, you know, it is what it is. I wanna move on to Complexion. So I did apply a little bit of my Rare Beauty Illuminating Primer. I'm gonna apply a little bit more just to my forehead area and the tops of my cheekbones. This is a favorite of mine. I actually went through an entire mini, and then I did purchase another one during the sale, the November Sephora sale. This is just such a nice, lightweight, glowy primer. It doesn't add, you know, a thick layer, but as you can see, especially like on my forehead, it really gives me a nice glow under makeup. And then I am going to, of course, you guessed it, apply this to my T-zone. This is my Hourglass Airbrush Vanish primer. Just so good. For foundation, I was able to get a sample of both the Glow and the Matte Dior foundations. So for some reason or another, I didn't review them. And when I was in store yesterday, I asked if I could have a couple samples. So I'm going to be trying out the Dior Forever Skin Glow Foundation SPF 15. This is supposed to be a radiant finish, medium coverage, and you can build it to full. I'm a little bit nervous about, you know, radiant finish, but we will see how it works. I have the shade 2.5W. This is my little sample. So I'm going to be working out of this. I also have the matte one, but because we're using the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer blush, I felt like I wanted a more dewy base. So I'm just going to take some onto this sponge. Okay, so this isn't too warm, which is nice. I usually try to go for like neutral, just because I feel like lately warm foundation shades are like really, really warm, leaning yellow orange. This definitely has that Dior fragrance, so just keep that in mind. But it is a really thin texture, which I like. I've been trying glowy foundations, as you guys know, and I just do not like the ones that have a ton of skincare in them. They just feel so heavy for me. This is looking nice. It's not enhancing my texture. I think it's because it is that thinner consistency. I'm liking the way this is applying. Actually, I think it oxidizes a little bit, but I'm liking how it's applying with the sponge, so I'm just gonna stick with that. So this is what the Dior foundation looks like freshly applied. This is one of the more flattering, radiant finishes that I've tried, just because, as I said, a lot of them have been just so thick and heavy. This is not thick and heavy at all. I would say it definitely is radiant. Of course, I want to see how this lasts throughout the day. If it gets super oily or starts patching off, I don't feel that it's enhancing my texture as badly as some of the other really radiant foundations I've tried recently. I would say it is a medium coverage, but I am noticing a little bit of my acne peeking through. So instead of building and just getting a heavy layer, I'm just going to take a little bit of my Too Faced concealer. This is in the shade Porcelain. I should have done this before, but I wanted to see the coverage on the foundation, which I do think is nice. I just have some blemishes as usual. But now I want to go in with the new Lawless Concealer. So I've talked about this a couple times in videos, and I also did a TikTok. I've used this now 4 different times, so this will be about my 5th try. This is the Conceal the Deal Full Coverage Concealer. I really like the Conceal the Deal foundation. It's very liquidy and it has that self-setting feel to it. It lasts really well, but it definitely has that powdery feel. It's almost similar to the One Size BBB cream, but I would say lighter and just like a more lightweight feel. The One Size is a little bit thick whipped, whereas the Lawless is very thin, but then it kind of goes to that cream finish. So I'm gonna be using the shade Shell today. Actually, let me swatch these for you. Okay, so this is Shell, which is, I would say, more neutral, and Cream Puff is more yellow. I'm actually gonna go in with Cream Puff today. So in my experience, this is definitely one of the more matte concealers. I don't think that if you need hydration under your eyes, this would be the option for you, just because of that self-setting. It does have that like powdery feel to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out with a sponge. I feel like it's one of those, I don't think that it like sets super quickly, but I wouldn't leave it on the skin to, you know, kind of dry, just because it is not super hydrating. So this is what one layer looks like. It's a very thin consistency, again, like that whipped cream to powder feel, or liquid to powder. I'm gonna apply a little bit more. Freaking NASCAR Teddy and his buddies are out today. It's just a joy here. So I'm gonna try to build this. I feel like you really wanna use a light hand when you do layer because I did notice some lifting right here the other day when I used it. So again, right now I'm using it with a more glowy foundation and I feel like it's blending nicely. This is what it looks like with a little bit of building. I feel like it's nice and brightening. So I wanna go ahead and set it. I'm gonna be using my Huda Beauty Pound Cake Powder. I actually did buy another one when I was in store yesterday just because, you know, I love this powder with all my being. So I'm just gonna make sure I don't have any creases. I'm also curious to see how the Dior Foundation sets down. All right, so to finish off the eyes, I'm gonna go back into the palette into that maroon shade. I'm gonna use a Rephr 03, and I'm just gonna put this really tight up on my lower lash line. And then I'm gonna take this shade right here, and I'm going to smoke that out. Roscoe's downstairs playing with Ian. I think I'm gonna take a little bit of this shade right here for the inner corner. This is that Shell Yeah. Just to add a little something something. And then for the waterline, I'm gonna be using the Nabla Cupid's Arrow. I got this, I believe, during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. This is the shade 7, which is a really pretty like burgundy color. This is my favorite eyeliner formula ever. So I'm gonna apply this, see if this works. That shade is so unique. I also have the shade 3, which I might go in with, well, maybe. Yeah, just not as red. The other one is like teetering on I'm sick. You know what I mean? Like my eyes are red, whereas this one is more like purple. Yeah, I think I like the shade 3 better. So the eyes are done. I feel like I need some dimension on the face. I wanna go in with the brand new product from Fenty Beauty. This is the Sun Stalker Face and Eye Bronzer Highlighter Palette. So I was gonna use this on my eyes, but then I had the Too Faced, so I thought that I would demo the Too Faced for those of you that was interested. So in here you have 5 powder bronzers and then 2 brand new highlighting shades. So you can use this on your eyes or face. The packaging I do think is that snappable packaging, which isn't my favorite, but so this is what the packaging looks like. It has that really pretty mirrored packaging, and then inside you do have a mirror along with the bronzers. So for me, I would probably use these two the most. I do see what people are saying, and I sort of wish that there would have been maybe like 2 or 3 different options, just because, I mean, these shades I would definitely have to use on the eyes, same with this and this shade. But let's go ahead and swatch these new highlighters. It looks like there is a lighter, that looks really pretty, like champagne, and then a gold. So because that shade will probably work best for me, I am gonna go into that first. I already know that I really like this formula. This brush, I love it, from Smith Cosmetics, but it sheds. I love the shape of it because it's like small and I can do more precise application, but it sheds, which is like really irritating. So the Fenty bronzer formula is very thin. It's not very powdery at all. Okay, this is shedding like on a whole nother level. What is happening here? I'm actually gonna probably switch brushes. All right, I'm gonna grab my Rephr 04 because it's small too. I'm actually gonna mix these two now just to get a little depth in my cheekbone area. So I did notice a little bit of just difficulty blending, or maybe a little bit of choppiness, which is pretty typical for my skin type with foundations that aren't matte. Anything that's really radiant sometimes doesn't play the best with powders, but it wasn't anything crazy. I know I love the formula of the Fenty Beauty, so I know that it has to be the foundation, but I wanna go into the highlight shade. So I'm gonna be using the lighter one, and I'm just gonna take a brush from Real Techniques. It swatched really pretty. So I wanna use this before I go in with that Laura Mercier blush. So the highlighter is pretty. I really like the color. It's not like a typical gold. It's like a champagne shade. I do feel like it does sort of cling to texture a little bit. I always prefer the baked gelée type formulas like the ABH Rosy or the Dior Backstage. I think this is pretty. I really want to get that blush on and then we will go from there. I'm going to use some down the center of my nose. It's just a typical powder highlight, which on me can be just a little bit heavier. So now I want to go in and try out this new Laura Mercier blush. I'm taking a risk by trying this on a set face, but for me, I really will only rave about cream blushes that can go over powder. This is the Tinted Moisturizer blush in the shade Southbound. I got this in store. I will say the shades all look, I would say, a little bit more subdued, and I like a little punch, but this one looked pretty. It's very thin in texture, but it is giving me pretty hydrated feel. So what I'm gonna do is use my sponge and I'm just going to say a prayer essentially. So I have some on my hand. I'm just gonna take my sponge, really work it in, and then build from there. I do feel like I'm probably gonna have to build a few layers just because these don't seem overly pigmented. I do think that they market them as sheer. Okay, so I'm not noticing any lifting at all. I would say these are sheer though. I'm on my 4th layer here. So this is what the blush looks like. This is 4 layers, so I do think they are quite sheer. I had to use quite a bit because I feel like with, you know, going over powder, I don't want to just swipe it on or apply directly to the face. They do have a little bit of a glow to them. There's no like shimmer that I can detect, but they do have a glowy feel to them. Very pretty. I just wish the colors maybe had a little more oomph, but they all just seemed quite, I don't know how to describe it. Nothing was really like neon bright. You know, they all were more of your like neutral shades, like peachy pink, you know, berry, stuff like that. This is what the blush looks like built up. I feel like it's easy to use and it doesn't feel super tacky at all. There's a little bit of a glow to it. It's really pretty if you prefer a more neutral blush. You don't like quite as heavy as me, then you may really like these colors. But I like the formula. The fact that it went over powder actually surprised me. But I feel like, you know, cream blushes are evolving and they're just becoming better and better. I'm gonna take a little bit more of this Fenty highlighter just to go on the top of my cheekbones. So now let's move on to lips. I have these new Refi lip sculpts. They will be available at Sephora, I believe, on the 8th. They're already there, like online, so I will link them down below, but they're not available yet. So I did buy 3 shades. I am gonna probably pick up 1 more, but the one that I've been using the most has been Rosewood, which honestly, I didn't think I would use as much just because I tend to like more of a brown lip liner. This one is a little bit more on the rosy side. They also have this sort of sealant, which I'm not really into. It's basically this silicone type clear topper that's supposed to really hold down your lip liner. To be honest, I feel like these wear really well, so I don't think that it's needed. So I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips. And then as always, I'm going to be using my lip stain. This is from Undone Beauty in the shade Sun Red. You can get this at Ulta. And I just apply this to the center of my lips. Really, that's all there is to it. And it just gives me, I don't know, that popsicle look that I love. For lips, I'm a little undecided. I have the Juicy Lip Plumps from Tarte, but I also picked up this really pretty gloss. This is the Plumping Glassy Lip Trip from Cali Ray, which is a newer brand to Sephora. This just looked really beautiful and high shine. I want to maybe put like a lipstick down first and then apply this. So I'm going to go in with a classic, which is Peep Show from Pat Mcgrath. This is one of my favorite lipstick colors ever. I just love like a pink lipstick. I don't know what it is, but it just is one of my favorite colors to wear. I feel like I might have to go in with a little bit more of that lip liner just because I feel like this is looking a little too light. Okay, and then I think I want to try out this gloss on top. I'll show you a swatch of it. It just looked really nice and high shine. Ooh, it smells good. All right, so I think that's really pretty. I'm gonna take a little bit of my Makeup by Mario lip liner in Travis. I feel like I just need a little bit more dimension. An extra little step I wanna do that I've been doing lately is using a little bit of my Dior Backstage blush. This is the pink version. And just applying a little bit over the T-zone area. I feel like it just, I don't know, looks a little bit just like sun-kissed almost. This is a really interesting blush just because it's one of those that you really build, but it just adds a little bit of like this pink glow to your skin, and I just feel like it's so pretty. To finish off, I have a new setting spray from Urban Decay. I'm a little confused because this has vitamin C in it, and I really don't understand the difference enough, so I want to read a little bit about it. So it says it is a radiant finish hydrating, but it's a makeup setting and finishing spray with vitamin C that hydrates the skin and keeps your makeup on for up to 16 hours. So I love the original, but I'm just kind of a little confused about the vitamin C added, only because typically if you use vitamin C, you do want to use an SPF over top. It does say that it's supposed to be hydrating too, so I'm almost wondering if that's the difference. I'm going to pull up the original just to compare the claims other than the vitamin C. So when I look at the original all-nighter, it says a natural finish. So they're both supposed to be long wearing, but the new one has vitamin C in it, and it is a radiant finish. So essentially this one's just supposed to be more radiant and hydrating, but still keep your makeup on, if that's making sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and shake this up. Let's see what it smells like. It has like a light citrus smell, but nothing crazy. So I really want to see if this is going to give me a glow. So I went heavy there. Again, I love the original all-nighter, but it is a natural finish, whereas this one's supposed to be radiant. You guys will have to let me know down below, but I do feel like my skin does look more radiant after using this. I do feel a slight tack, which I think is pretty normal for hydrating or radiant setting sprays, but I'm intrigued solely because I want to see if this really locks my makeup in like the original all-nighter while giving me a glow. So we'll keep trying this out, but my first impression is it does what it says it's gonna do. I'm just a little bit confused about that vitamin C claim. All right guys, so here's my finished makeup look trying out new products, and I wanna give you my first impression on everything. Starting out with the K-Skin lip balm with the SPF. I think it's a nice lip balm. It's reasonably priced, especially for Sephora. It smells like vanilla. So this is exactly what I was looking for. Just something comfortable that's gonna give me a little bit of shine or tint, but also protect my lips. It doesn't have a tint to it, but it's really glossy, so it gives me kind of that lip oil vibe. Moving on to the Too Faced palette. Now I know that Too Faced does tend to do very similar, palettes over and over and over again. A lot of these brands are guilty of that, but I will say that I really feel like the look was made once I dipped into these really beautiful maroon colors. There's just something that I love about a burgundy maroon wing with eyeshadow. It's just so beautiful, and I do like that there are really deep shades in here. I feel like they did a good job with the mattes because you do have different tones. You have pink, then you have more of like a peachy, then you've got your warm tones, and then you can go into the maroon, brown, black. So I really like that. There are some different textures on these shimmers. This one almost feels like a cream and it goes on beautifully, but then you have like the more flaky toppers that aren't really my favorite. But overall, I feel like this palette gave me a beautiful look. If you like just neutral shades, I think you would get a lot of use out of it. Do you need this palette? No, you don't need any palette. I mean, let's be real. I'm going crazy over the new Patrick Ta that's really just like basics roses. So I tend to use colors like this more, but I really was wowed by the mattes, just the ability to do a winged liner without having to wet them. It was just easy to work with. So I think it's a beautiful palette. Do I think it's anything revolutionary? No, but it's pretty. Moving on to the Dior Forever Glow Foundation. I actually like it. I think that it looks really smooth on my texture. When I'm looking at the center of my face, I feel like this is on par with, let's say, like the Armani Luminous Silk, maybe a little more radiant, but I like that it's not heavy. I can't stand the heavy, sticky textures that have a ton of skincare in them. This is a little glowy and a little less coverage than I personally prefer when I do have breakouts. For me, I could see myself picking this up and just mixing it in with a matte foundation. That's what I do a lot of the time with the Armani Luminous Silk. I get the best of both worlds. I feel like my skin looks really nice and healthy and smooth. Usually radiant finish foundations make me look quite textured in my T-zone, and I don't feel that. I mean, I have to look back at my footage, but just looking in the mirror, I feel like my skin looks nice and smooth. So I'm gonna keep trying this. This may be one that I pick up a full size during the sale. In terms of the Lawless Concealer, I've been enjoying it. I feel like it's nice and smoothing. I just think that right now we're seeing really an influx in a lot of super hydrating concealers, really hydrating products in general. This is not that. This is for those of you with oily or combo skin or that just prefer a matte finish. I think that it blends super easy. I didn't notice anything crazy. I do feel that it is a medium coverage. You can build it a little bit, but I still see a little bit of the blueness peeking through. So for me, because I am combo skin, it works for me. I don't know if it's blowing me away. It's the best concealer I've ever tried. I'm really loving the LYS and the KVD as of recently, but this is not one that I would declutter. I would continue to use it just because it works for my skin type. Moving on to the Fenty Beauty bronzer palette. I think this was a good idea, and I like this for makeup artists or for those of you that maybe are, let's say, like medium tan skin tone, and you could use all three of these shades depending on if you're in the sun or if you use a self tanner. For me, I really want to try these more so on the eyes. I like the variation of tones, but for my skin tone in terms of bronzer, these two are about the only ones that would work, and then the highlighter. But I just don't know if a lot of consumers will be able to use, you know, all of the shades unless they really do use this on the eyes. I do want to use it on the eyes, and I will moving forward. I think that today I just really was trying to include as many products as possible to review for you guys, and I had seen just some interest in that Too Faced palette, which, you know, surprised me. But overall, I'm happy to have this. I just would have preferred to see, you know, maybe 2 or 3 different options so that you could use more of the shades as bronzer. Moving on to the Laura Mercier blush. I really like this. I feel like it is nice and hydrating, little bit of glow. There's some sort of like satin sheen to it, but it's not heavy. I don't feel that my, you know, face is really sticky. My hair wouldn't get stuck in this. It's almost like a whipped texture with a little bit of a glow to it. My only complaint is it is quite sheer. You do have to build it up. Now, I know not everybody wears as much blush as I do or likes, you know, a lot of blush. So if you like more of a modest look, I think you would really like this. I think this could be used for every skin type solely because it's very thin in texture. It's not something that I feel is heavy or is gonna patch off. So I think this is really cute. I may look at other colors. I just felt like they all looked a little subdued for my taste, but I'm happy to have this. I'll keep trying it out. Of course, I love the Refi Beauty lip sculpts. As I said, I've been using Rosewood a lot, and I am gonna pick up the deeper pink shade during the sale when it becomes available. This is a great formula. It is a little bit drier, so it hangs on, you have control, and I just really like it. I like the shades. I've really liked a lot from Refi Beauty. Now, in terms of this lip gloss from Cali Ray, I don't think there's anything, you know, crazy special about it. You know, when you go into Sephora and you just start, you know, going down each aisle, I just kept adding things into my basket. I think it's pretty, it's high shine. If you like gloss that really feels more like a lip oil with zero tack, I think you would like these, and they had some pretty shades, but I don't think it's anything that's like wowing me, you know, that's gonna become like my favorite ever, but it is pretty. You know what? I got sucked in when I was shopping. And then lastly, the Urban Decay All-Nighter Vitamin C. I really think that this is just their version of a radiant setting spray that also locks your makeup in. So I'm gonna have to see how my makeup wears, see if I notice, you know, that it really holds my makeup on. And as I said, I would like to compare it to the original and just kind of do a side-by-side and see. I like it because it does give you a little bit of glow without feeling heavy or anything like that. My holy grail right now is the Charlotte Tilbury, But All Nighter is my second pick in terms of locking your makeup in. And I know maybe a lot of people wouldn't want to use, you know, makeup setting sprays like that because a lot of the time they do make you look matte. And, you know, everybody's about the glow right now. So I do think that this could be a great option if you want some radiance, but you also need your makeup to last. So I'll keep trying it out and update, but so far, so good. We'll just have to see. All right, so that is everything for this trying new makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me demo some products. I'd love to hear your feedback down below if you're gonna pick up any of these products or if you have picked them up and your thoughts. I will link all the products down below as well as information about the sale because you can get, I believe, everything or most of the products I used today, you can get them at Sephora so you can get your discount. So all the links will be down below. If you're new here, I hope you subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.